Well, let's talk about this. For the first time in years, there's no pressure on a Cleveland Browns quarterback. And this is what it looks like with this roster. Fun, competitive, collaborative, grown-ups, all in one direction. Cleveland's had a very good roster for years, but Baker came in. He was young, chutzpah, cocky, little immature. And then Deshaun Watson enters. Weird baggage. Coaching carousel. Today, Cleveland. Today. Great young GM Andrew Berry. Great young offensive coach, and that matters, Kevin Stefanski. Excellent players. And an adult at quarterback with no baggage. This is what it looks like. And Stefanski's doing it. They're missing linemen, a running back, Amari Cooper, fourth quarterback. This guy, Stefanski and Flacco, it works. And this offense is undeniably better with Joe Flacco starting than Deshaun Watson. Sorry if it hurts your feelings. But in 5 starts, just 5, Flacco's got 13 touchdown passes. Over 2 years, Deshaun Watson in 12 starts has won more than that. The offense is better with Flacco. Big arm, sees the field better, grown up, not weird, no baggage. Coach isn't the problem. Stefanski's never been the problem. The people criticizing him don't get it. And those who don't get it, don't get it. Stefanski's never been the problem. And it shouldn't be lost. Last night, Cleveland's on their 4th quarterback, missing several starters. Offense is rolling. The Jets on a backup with a defensive coach. Mess again. Shouldn't be lost. It's happening all over the league. When you get a quarterback disruption, the offensive coaches can handle it. The defensive coaches and teams spiral. Of course, there's a controversy looming. It's the Cleveland Browns, after all. What do you do if Flacco gets him to the AFC Championship? What do you do? Well, thanks, Joe. It's been fun. The team loves him. The coaches clearly trust him. He's doing it without starters. What do you do? What do you do with Watson and Flacco? I don't know, but here's what I do know. In this moment in December, soon to be January, maybe playing until February, this is a viable AFC Championship team with a young, really, really bright offensive coach, with an excellent roster again, and with a quarterback who's a grown-up with no baggage, having the time of his life. Cleveland's real grown-up at coach and quarterback. It's not a shot at Baker. He's a kid. Deshaun Watson, not my guy. But this is what Cleveland should be looking like. This is what this coach can deliver. This GM, this roster, these players. They're good. They're really good players all over it. Even missing players. They're at a different level than many teams in the NFL. Tip of the cap to Flacco, and here's the coach after.
And what this team has showed time and time again is that I will fight my ass off for my teammate. And I appreciate that, fellas. Okay? That's what makes great teams. Okay? This second season that we're going into, there's going to be a bunch of great teams. That's what it is. But the team I see in here is a connected football team that will not be denied for the brother next to you. Okay? That's the truth. We still have work to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Work to do. We got work to do, but I'm telling you, fellas, you earned it tonight. You earned it. You took care of business, and you earned it. I'm proud of you guys. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
And this can't be lost. In 2023, NFL quarterbacks are tall. Some are thin. Some are stout. Some are short. Some move. Some don't. But one thing in common with the quarterbacks that win consistently: no baggage. Not weird. Grown-ups. Adults. Cleveland finally has one at quarterback. And this is what you get. Russell Wilson's post-Seahawk career has been interesting, hasn't it? I was thinking about this last night. It's been complicated. So Michael Jordan's wizard years, a little bumpy, didn't affect his legacy. That odd year, ugly year, Favre with the Jets didn't really affect his football legacy. Shaq, bouncing around the NBA last several years, has had no impact on his legacy. Hall of Fame level guys. Russell Wilson's Seattle legacy is very complicated. There was a while there we were all watching thinking, is this what quarterback's going to look like going forward? Have to move, intuitive, impulsive, quick, raindrop throws. New information. When he had the top defense and the top run game, Seattle rolled. And then they started using a phrase, let Russ cook. And the team became more Russ-centric, and they won a lot less. Even in the 2 seasons, Russ got to a Super Bowl, those 2 seasons, with the number 1 run game. A Hall of Fame level coach and a great defense. 13 times in 2 years, Russ threw for under 200 yards. In 2 years, 13 times. And again, once they let Russ cook, the food wasn't as good. So Russ wanted respect and moved to Denver to open up his own restaurant. 2 words, kitchen nightmare. It failed. That's the reality. This Bronco debacle absolutely tarnishes his legacy. It has crystallized the truth that he is a good quarterback, sometimes very good, but with an all-time coach, an all-time running back, and an all-time defense. He's good to very good. It doesn't help his legacy that Seattle, and I think they'll beat Pittsburgh this weekend, will make the playoffs for the 2nd straight year in a tough division with a combination of Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Yeah. I have been a huge Russ guy. Still thought earlier this year he was playing pretty well. But I've always leaned on a saying, and I believe it more than ever today. New data, I have to reassess my opinion. I don't get locked into anything other than my wife and kids. New information, new data, time to reassess. And with Russell Wilson, I don't think there's much of a market going forward. I think there is a bigger market for Justin Fields, who I'm not sure can quarterback consistently and win, than Russell Wilson. Albert Breer talked about this yesterday.
Well, he has the same problem that Cam Newton and Tim Tebow had. Can you imagine him as a backup, Colin? You can envision Kirk Cousins going somewhere as he gets older and becoming a backup or becoming a bridge quarterback. It's a lot harder to do that with Russell Wilson because everything he brings with him, his celebrity, all of the different things, the history. It's hard to figure where his fit is going to be. It's not even finding an individual team. It's finding a particular circumstance that he would fit into at this point.
Add another layer. Sean Payton's won with everybody. Taysom Hill, more athlete than quarterback. And he's bailing on Russell Wilson and the contract, even though it will be punitive for multiple years in Denver. He'll have to overcome him. He'd rather have him out and pay for him than have him in and pay for him. The let Russ cook thing didn't really work. The new kitchen was a nightmare. Payton moving off him, not exactly a big market. Russ has to be reflective here. I'm not a fan of anything outside of my kids and wife forever. You got to look in the mirror. And I don't see a market. Denver's basically saying, we'd rather take the cap hit without him here with Jarrett Stidham. And so I do think legacies get very complicated. And I'm not sure there's ever been a quarterback with a more complicated one, about 60% through his career, than Russell Wilson.